Before we chant the verse, we'll do a little bit of background picture because most of you weren't here for the story leading up to today's verse. Before we start, let us recite the Guru Parampara Pranamas, please. With enthusiasm. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Bhasta Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pujarani Nirvisesha Sunyavari Bhaskadya Desitarana Om Agina Tivirindasya Gira Gira Shala Chaksuan Militam Gina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu Stapitam Gena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Darate Swapadanteham Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Gita Paragamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavascha Sri Rupam Sagatatam Sagana Raghunatam Stam Sadeva Sadvaitam Savadutam Parajana Sitam Sri Krishna Caitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Shikanitam Scha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namoshta Apta Kanjana Korangi Vishna Vishwari Vishavanu Sota Devi Pranamami Harivi Vanchakalpa Karubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhavecha Patidnam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Radha Sivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatyam Vyasam Toram Adhyarye Nastya Pariyesu Abhadvesu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavata Uttama Shloka Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. So, are you ready to hear about the sex life of a famous king? How many of you, now be honest, how many of you want to hear about the sex life of a famous king? Some of you aren't being honest. Who would not want to hear about the sex life of a very famous, powerful king? We're talking about a Maharaja, a man with the strength of 10,000 elephants. I think Atul Krishna Prabhu, he's ready. No need to read a trashy novel, rubbish novel, no need. No need to watch some dirty Bollywood film full of sex, no need. Just hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So today we're going to get some glimpses into the private sex life of a great king and the most beautiful Urvasi, the favorite dancer. King Indra's favorite Apsara. So this chapter is called King Pururava. The king's name was Pururava. How King Pururava, a great powerful emperor, was enchanted by Urvasi, the heavenly damsel. This is text 19. See, King Purava said, "Oh, most beautiful woman, you are welcome. Please sit here and tell me what I could do for you." You may enjoy with me as long as you desire. Let us pass our life happily in a sexual relationship. He's just met this beautiful young woman. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't say, "Let us spend our life happily in devotional service together." He didn't say that. So he's smitten. Smitten means the Cupid arrow got him right in the heart and through the eyes. So Urvasi replied, text 20, "Oh, most handsome man." I mean, he's handsome, you know, big mustachio, you know, gold helmet, jewels. Long black hair, very, very handsome. So Urvasi is directly noting this. Sometimes if a beautiful woman wants to have sex with a handsome young man, she's going to use some flattery. So she says, text number 20, "Oh, most handsome man, who is the woman whose mind and sight would not be attracted by you?" If a woman takes shelter of your chest, she cannot refuse to enjoy with you in a sexual relationship. Don't blame me, this is Bhagavata Purana, the highest scripture in the universe. Maybe you didn't believe me when I said you would hear about the sex life of a great king. Perhaps you didn't believe me, but here you're directly now you're hearing from who? Shukadeva Goswami. So Srila Prabhupada comments, when a beautiful man and a beautiful woman unite together and embrace one another, how within these three worlds can they check their sexual relationship? I mean, this is Prabhupada. Don't blame me. Therefore, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 7th canto says, "Yan Maitunadi Grihamedi Shukam Hitucham." Grihamedi means materialistic life based on sense gratification. This is the world standard, actually. Those who have control of their senses, those who render devotional service to the Supreme Lord, in this mundane world, they are in the minority. However, try to understand that the Hare Krishna devotees are in a majority in the creation. How many of you already knew that? You didn't know. So the fact of the matter is, the devotees are in the majority in the creation and the non-devotees are in the minority. In the higher planets, they're all devotees of Lord Vishnu. They may be devotees of Lord Shiva also, but they're devotees of Lord Vishnu. Like even a materialistic king like Daksha, progenitor, he's a devotee of Lord Vishnu. So Bhur-Bhuvasva, upper, middle, lower planetary system. But in the lower planets are the demons, asuras. They are not devotees of Lord Vishnu. But they are situated in one of the 7 secondary rasas. Sometimes, often gasiness. They may, because they want to kill Lord Vishnu, that's gasiness. Not favorable, you see, not devotional service, but it's a rasa anyways. That's given as the 7 secondary rasas. So Urvasi continues, my dear King Purava, please give protection to those 2 lambs who have fallen down with me. Although I belong to the heavenly planets and you belong to earth, I shall certainly enjoy sexual union with you. I have no objection to accepting you as my husband, for you are superior in every respect. So although she was from the higher planets, she agreed to remain the consort of the king Pururava, who is from this plane. Text 22. Urvasi said, my dear hero, only preparations made in ghee will be my edibles, and I shall not want to see you naked at any time. Except at the time of sexual intercourse. The great-minded king Pururava accepted these proposals. Pururava replied, Oh beautiful one, your beauty is wonderful and your gestures are also wonderful. He's completely infatuated. Indeed, you are attractive to all human society. Therefore, since you have come of your own accord from the heavenly planets, who on earth would not agree to serve a demigoddess such as you? So in the purport, Prabhupada comments that on the higher planets they don't have the same standards as the earth. They eat only preparations made in ghee. So they do not eat such abominable things as meat and eggs. So apparently even the Kshatriyas on the heavenly planets are vegetarian, according to the statement by Prabhupada. Prabhupada's making a point of it. Everything they eat is prepared in ghee. And they don't like to see either men or women naked except in the time of sexual intercourse. Unlike modern world, when you first come into Los Angeles from the international airport, there's a big, boulevard, big 6-lane street from the leading into the airport.
Los Angeles, United States,
there used to be a neon sign, neon sign, lit up sign, 3 meters tall, said nudes. Really, I'm telling you the truth, a big 3-meter tall sign saying nude, so that everybody coming into Los Angeles, the first thing they see is a degraded discotheque. And they would like it. They like it. I think the city finally shut them down. I guess took a long time, took decades. I think they finally realized it was bad form to have a sign like that to greet all the international guests. I have to tell you a funny anecdote, and anecdote? In the history of ISKCON, there was one of the greatest book distributors. His name was Tripurari Swami. One time he was in the airport, and they used to sell books to soldiers who were coming home from the army. They're coming home for leave. They were paid in cash, so they would have hundreds and hundreds of dollars in their pockets, burning holes. So the merciful devotees wanted to engage them and take some of that money for Krishna's service and Srila Prabhupada's service. Otherwise, they were going to spend most of it on liquor, prostitutes, and disco dancing, and very less would they give to their parents, not like Indian culture. So Tripurari Swami approached one of these soldiers. They were coming through 100 at a time, and they were the best customers. He tried to interest the soldier in buying a book. The soldier was not interested in buying one of Prabhupada's books. Tripurari just happened to be carrying Krishna book with him. This is amazing. The soldier said, "I will not buy one of your books unless you can show me the breast of a woman." True story. Tripurari took out the story of Putana and baby Krishna. The soldier was completely defeated. There was nothing he could say. Baby Krishna crawling on a giant breast of Putana. There was nothing he could say. He gave him $100 US. Hariva! There are, of course, hundreds of book distribution stories. That's only one of them. I think I have to tell just one more book distribution story from one of the world's top book distributors here in Delhi. He was out on the streets trying to sell Bhagavad-gita. A young man came by and on a motorbike. He said, no, not interested, not interested. But the devotee said, you know, this is a very dangerous world. Death can come at any moment. You really need the knowledge that's in this book. He said, no, not interested. So he drove only a few meters, hit an oil slick, crash. His bike toppled over and he got a little bit injured on his leg. The devotee ran over to him swiftly with the Bhagavad-gita in his hand. The young man said, I'll take that book now. Ki jai, Hare Val. Srila Prabhupada book distribution, ki jai. So, the very high standard on the heavenly planets. Urvasi said, I don't want to see you naked except during sex. That was a condition. So Shukadeva Goswami continues. Want to hear more? Anybody want to? That was weak. You want to hear more? That was weak. You want to hear? Better, better. Shukadeva Goswami continued, the best of human beings, Pururava, began freely enjoying the company of Urvasi. This is text 24. Who engaged in sexual activities with him in many celestial places. Such as Chaitwaratha and Nandana Kanana, where the demigods enjoy. So here, next verse 25, we hear about who the king was infatuated by. Urvasi's body was as fragrant as the saffron of a lotus. This was in a prior yuga. Unfortunately, Kali Yuga, the lotuses we get from the market nowadays have 0 scent, and this is they're just cellulose. Kali Yuga has advanced tremendously. Well, I remember though, even 10 years ago in India, lotus flowers still had scent. Progress, progress. Generic engineering. So everybody worship is generic engineering. Oh, progress, progress. Yeah, taking all the scent out of all the flowers. Even we see that practically none of the flowers have scent anymore. It's generic engineering, basically. So her body was as fragrant as the saffron of a lotus. Being enlivened by the fragrance of her face and body, Pururava enjoyed her company for many days with great jubilation. Text 26. Not seeing Urvasi in his assembly, the king of heaven, Lord Indra, said, without Urvasi, my assembly is no longer beautiful. Considering this, he requested the Gandharvas to bring her back to his heavenly planet. So here we see King Indra is famous as a Sakama devotee. He's a devotee of Lord Vishnu. Can't say he's not a devotee. He fights against the demons. But he's very, very lusty. Perhaps you know the story. Not all paintings of Indra show him properly. Even in our books, not shown completely. I've seen some paintings, however, that show him properly. He has eyes all over his body. Anybody know why? Yes? He was cursed. Was it Brihaspati? I don't remember what. He attempted to seduce the wife of one of the big sadhus. Huh? Oh, Gautama Rishi. He attempted to seduce the wife of Gautama Rishi. This infuriated the great Rishi and he cursed him. I won't say what he cursed originally for Indra to have all of his despicable all over his body. So Indra was humiliated because now he was ruined. He said, please make, O Saraji, O Guru Maharaj, please make some adjustment. I can't live like this. So then the sadhu changed the curse to eyes. So Indra, very lusty, couldn't live without Urvasi. Text 26. Not seeing Urvasi in his assembly, the king of heaven, Lord Indra, said, without Urvasi, my assembly is no longer beautiful. So he asked the Gandharvas to bring her back to the heavenly planets. This had to be done through some deception. This had to be done through some deception, trick. Text 27. Thus the Gandharvas came to earth, and at midnight, when everything was dark, they appeared in the house of Purava and stole the 2 lamps entrusted the king by his wife Urvasi. Now this was at midnight and everything was completely black. Text 28. Urvasi treated the 2 lambs like her own sons. Therefore, when they were being taken by Gandharvas and she began crying, the lambs were crying, and Urvasi heard them and rebuked her husband. Now I'm being killed, she said. Under the protection of an unworthy husband who is a coward and a eunuch, although he thinks himself a great hero. These are very sharp words.
of the
You say this to a Kshatriya, they got very upset. Louder. Vaishnavis, loudly please. Tell them loudly because they chant so soft. Translation. This is Urvasi speaking. Oh my dear king, you will be able to enjoy with me as my husband at the end of every year for one night only. In this way you will have other children one after another. So Prabhupada comments in the purport, although Urvasi had adversely explained the nature of a woman, Maharaj Pururava were very much attached to her, and therefore she wanted to give the king some concession by agreeing to be his wife for one night at the end of each year. So in every verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is loaded with lessons. In this story of King Pururava, we see the high price of bodily attachment. Of the 8,400,000 species of life in the material world, those are different kinds of material bodies. All the way from germs up to devas, lions, elephants, giant creatures. All of them are attached to sex life. Practically, it's the very purpose of the material world, is to give an avenue of way to free oneself from this sex attachment. But there's another narration in the Srimad Bhagavatam about a great king, another great king, different king. There are many stories. They're not stories, they're historical narrations. Stories suggest mythology. This is not mythology. These are non-different from itihasas. Itihasas means histories. You could say that Srimad Bhagavatam is like it's called Mahapurana, but it could also be called Maha-itihasha, because itihasha is history of the universe.
तो श्रीमद् भागवतम को महापुराण कहा गया है, इसी प्रकार से इसको महाइतिहास भी कह सकते हैं।
Many descriptions about great kings
क्योंकि इसके अंदर कई महान राजाओं के बारे में चर्चा हुई है
and their private life.
और उनके व्यक्तिगत जीवन के बारे में।
So there was another king, a great king.
एक और महान राजा थे।
One day he was out on a hunting expedition, which that was common. The Kshatriyas, they used to go out on hunting expeditions, not to derive pleasure from killing the animals, but to sharpen up on their marksmanship.
तो वो राजा जो है वो शिकार के लिए जंगल में गए हुए थे। जो पहले के राजा थे उनके लिए शिकार करना बहुत ही स्वाभाविक होता था। ऐसा नहीं कि वो जानवरों को मारना चाहते थे, बल्कि वो अपना जो क्षत्रिय स्वभाव है उसको बना के रखना चाहते थे।
Nowadays, somebody wants to become skilled with using either bow or arrow. You can go to a special kind of a yard where they have the big, white and red circular targets, and you can practice. You can get a bow, some very powerful bows these days, but nothing compared to the Kshatriyas from the days of yore.
तो आजकल अगर कोई तीरंदाजी सीखना चाहता है तो उसको उस प्रकार के स्थलों पे जाना होता है जहाँ पे गोल और काले रंग के निशान बने होते हैं और वहाँ पे गोल धनुष और बाण से उसका अभ्यास करते हैं। लेकिन आज हो सकता है बहुत ही विभिन्न प्रकार के बाण हो, लेकिन जो पहले के जमाने में लोग तीरंदाजी करते थे और जो बाण और धनुष होते थे उसके मुकाबले में आज तो कुछ भी नहीं।
And you can practice your marksmanship by trying to get the red dot in the center of the target.
और अगर कोई तीरंदाजी में बहुत उत्तीर्ण है तो वो कैसे दिखा सकता है कि वो जो गोल बने होते हैं, निशान बने होते हैं,
But this is
उनका जो अंदर का गोला होता है उस पे निशाना मार के।
same thing for firing arms, guns and rifles and so forth.
और ऐसा ही होता है कोई जो बंदूक चलाना सीखता है।
That is a very modern concoction.
ये आजकल का एक आधुनिक मनोकल्पना है।
Formerly was Kshatriyas were authorized to go out and do hunting, and not to be sadistic.
तो पहले के जमाने में जो क्षत्रिय होते थे उनको ही सिर्फ ऐसा छूट था कि वो जाके शिकार कर सकते थे।
Not to be cruel to animals,
ऐसा नहीं कि उनको निर्दयी होने के लिए।
except for the story of Madhurya the hunter.
अगर भिखारी जो कि शिकारी था उसकी कहानी को छोड़ दे उसके अलावा।
We don't have time to tell that story.
तो अभी हमारे पास समय नहीं है उस कहानी के बारे में।
But he was half killing animals,
लेकिन वो जानवरों को आधा अधमरा छोड़ देते थे।
and Narada Muni came upon him and said, "Why are you half killing the animals? Is very cruel."
नारद मुनि वहाँ पर आए और उन्होंने भिखारी से पूछा कि तुम क्यों जानवरों को अधमरा छोड़ देते हो?
He said, "Well, I belong to a family of hunters, and my father taught me like that. That's all."
तो
He was half killing them, and they were tortured.
कि मैं ऐसे शिकारियों के खानदान से हूँ और मुझे बचपन से ऐसा देखा है मैंने कि मेरे पिताजी भी जानवरों को अधमरा मारते थे।
Using his mystic power, Narada Muni showed him in the sky what was going to be the sinful reaction.
तो नारद मुनि ने अपने तपोबल से उन्होंने दिखाया कि भिखारी को दिखाया कि क्या होने वाला है उसके साथ आगे।
Nowadays, we have to use these widescreen television screens for showing some PowerPoint presentation.
तो आजकल हमें ये दूरदर्शन टीवी का इस्तेमाल करना पड़ता है किसी प्रकार का चित्रण दिखाने के लिए।
Narada Muni doesn't have to do that.
लेकिन नारद मुनि को ऐसे
He just goes, and then he shows everything in the sky. The whole sky becomes a screen in which he shows what he wants to show to somebody.
तो वो बस इस प्रकार से अपने हाथों को घुमाते और वो पूरे आकाश में ऐसा चित्रण दिखा सकते थे जो वो दिखा रहे थे।
We used to do a play in Los Angeles very nicely.
तो हम लॉस एंजलिस में एक ऐसा नाटिका किया करते थे।
A little bunny rabbit. We would have different costumes. A little bunny rabbit would appear on the stage.
तो वहाँ पे एक छोटा सा खरगोश हुआ करता था।
The bunny rabbit would go, "Remember me, Rigari? I was the cute little bunny rabbit that you tortured."
तो वो खरगोश भिखारी को कहता था कि तुम्हें याद है जो तुम मुझे बहुत परेशान किया करते थे, दुखी किया करते थे।
"No, I am a ferocious tiger, and I'm going to pull you to pieces."
और वो ऐसा दिखाता था कि अब मैं एक चीता बन गया हूँ और मैं तुम्हें टुकड़े-टुकड़े कर दूँगा।
In this way, he showed how all the animals he'd been killing, deer and everything else, were going to become ferocious, and they were going to torture him.
और इस प्रकार से नारद मुनि ने उन्हें दिखाया कि कैसे जिन जानवरों को उसने मार
There's another narration for Bhagavatam, how Narada Muni is showing this same thing in the sky. Anybody know? Another story of a king and Narada, huh? Prachinibharisad. King Prachinibharisad. He was doing jagnas, but he was killing the animals, and his Brahmins were making mistakes. So similarly, he showed a whole show in the sky because of the mistakes and how the animals were being killed during a so-called jagna, how he was going to get all the sinful reaction due to his fruitive activities. Then he starts preaching to him about devotional service. So, in this way, the sadhus, they're always interested in delivering the materialistic persons. So King Pururava was so attached to Urvasi, but she gave a concession, I'll have sex with you once a year and you'll have sons in this way. Any questions? Yes.
Maharaj, is it better for the aspirant for liberation to go through household life and become disgusted with sex pleasure, or to remain a brahmachari?
In household life?
Is it better to go through grihastha life and become disgusted with sexual life, or?
Oh yeah, see, the thing is, that's an excellent question. I got distracted because there's so many interesting things in our philosophy and Bhagavat. I got distracted from this very point. Yes, I was going to make this very point. There was another great king who was out on hunting expedition. That's how I got started on hunting expedition. And he heard this pathetic crying of a young woman coming from a deep well. Of course, these were the old-fashioned dug wells. They were wide enough for somebody to fall in there easily. There's also a Bhagavad story. What happened was, there was the daughter of the great Brahman, one great Brahman, mystic, full of mystic powers. His daughter was friends with the daughter of a king. What was the name, do you recall? Yes, Shukracharya. Shukracharya, his daughter was friends, he's a Brahman, his daughter was friends with the daughter of a Kshatriya, but one day they had a very serious quarrel. So the daughter of the king threw her friend into the well. This is pretty heavy because it's the daughter of Shukracharya, not just any girl, you know, the daughter of heavy duty, full of mystic power. So the heroic king, hearing her pathetic cries, she was completely naked. Her so-called friend had torn all the clothes off her before throwing her into the well. So, you know. And of course she was very beautiful. Young and beautiful. So the heroic king reached down in the well to pull her out. And he was about to go on his way. Okay, I'm glad to be of service. She says, wait, you can't go. You have to marry me. You have touched me, you've seen me naked. I can't take any other man for husband. He goes, oh. He's completely defeated. So he marries her. He marries her even though she's the daughter of a Brahman and he's a king. This would happen. Pratiloma is one of the type of marriages mixing Brahman and Kshatriya. It happened in the days of yore. There's a certain title. I don't know if Pratiloma is quite the right one. Is it Pratiloma? So mixed caste between Kshatriya and Brahman. She was very beautiful, very young, very sexy. So Bhagavatam says they enjoyed sex together for many, many years. Husband and wife. This was not an affair, husband and wife. He had married her and she was very beautiful, and so he was enjoying sex with her like anything. This was a different yuga, it was not Kali Yuga, so thousands of years he was enjoying prolific sex with this beautiful young woman. One day he decides, okay, enough is enough. So he starts preaching to his wife through an allegory. He says, once upon a time there was a he-goat. And he came upon a she-goat who had fallen into the well. Well, this was obviously autobiographical, told in form of a story of a he-goat and a she-goat. So he describes how they enjoyed sex life together for many, 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 many years. At the end, he preaches to her. He says that this sex desire is so strong, actually it will never go away simply by indulging. He declares it. So there's the answer to your question. Bhagavad says, it is no use. You can indulge us, go on indulging for thousands of years, still it's not going to, the lust cannot be satisfied. That's what Krishna says in the Gita. It burns like fire, O Arjuna, cannot be satisfied. Krishna declares it. If God declares it, we should take it as first class advice. So if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, you'll come across this story also. Not story, this narration is true history of the universe. So we have to stop there. Thank you very much. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Kanachara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nita Gopamanande Hari Hari Bolo.